Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. How is everyone this Tuesday morning? Whew. It's Thursday. Oh my God, save my brain. I'm off. Happy Thursday. I meant Thursday morning. In fact, I just wrote things to think on Thursday for the title of this. Someone's got issues today. Anyways, how is everyone? I hope everyone's well. Take stock of your day so far, no matter where you are. Good morning, Eileen. Things to think on Thursday. We'll be talking about positivity today. And before you run away, it's not all sunshine and roses. So there's a level of a dark side to being positive, and that's not to scare anyone away from being positive. It's just kind of a fact. And it's not necessarily what comes from within us, but what comes from others. So, wow. That's a lot of cards. So, let's get rolling, because I got a ton of these. Tons. So, number one, it's time to make a decision. If you are stuck and you feel like you're stuck, it's time to make that decision. Here's the thing. A lot of times fear is going to hold us back. And so we're not going to push forward with something because we're like, oh, what if I fail? What if I do this? What if I do that? What if you don't? What if you succeed? What if all the good things happen? So give it a whirl. See what happens. You got to be squid in me. You got to be squid in me. You might need to rethink that. I hate that these cards always come together. It's like a decision thing again, right? So if this card resonated with you, the sorting hat, just do it. All right. But if there's something you're not supposed to be doing, right? Your spidey instincts are kicking up. Don't do it. All right. Reconnect with yourself or reconnect with someone. Letter writing is a lost art form. All right. I don't mean writing an email to somebody. I mean writing a physical letter with a pen and paper. Do it. Good morning, baby sibling. Oh, I need this one. Give your wishes, your worries, your burdens, your dreams to the universe. Let it float away from your grip. And if you look, it's a bunch of planets like a balloon. Just, I have no worries, all is well. That's a great affirmation. I have no worries, all is well. Even if it doesn't feel like it, say that, because that's going to help bring you kind of back to center, okay? I have no worries, all is well. Do you need to view the situation through different lenses, perspective? So that might actually go with the yes or no cards that we just pulled. If you can't figure out if you're squidding yourself or you can't figure out if you should make that decision, it might need more thought. All right. So give it a little bit more. It's kindness that draws people to you. Charisma. I have charisma. According to the older sibling, I have charisma. So sit back and relax. Deep breaths and chill mode. That was me yesterday. Deep breaths and chill mode. Love yourself. Self-love. Cannot say more about this card. Love yourself. Let's see. Don't be afraid to be magical, even if others might see you. All right. That kind of goes with today. I'm going to put that one aside for today's thing. Don't be hasty and don't rush to judgment. Before you judge somebody or you judge a situation, stop and kind of look at it in its entirety. A lot of times we will sit there and we will judge something and we won't consider anything else than how we feel inside. So if you're kind of feeling like, judgy, stop. I have to do that sometimes. Sometimes I have to sit there and go, okay, I need to take a deep breath and recenter and figure out why am I so mad at this situation. And a lot of times we get mad at stuff that doesn't even involve us, right? So it's just like, oh my God, I can't believe they're treating this person that way. Those who see the true you will give you the power to set yourself free. I like that. It's a buckbeak. If you've seen The Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter, buckbeak. Because his friends, Hagrid and the kids, to start, especially Hagrid to start, saw the beauty in this creature. They looked past the judgment, all right? And they saw inside, and it was, it's a regal creature, right? It's like, okay, so kind of like a side note, Dad and I were watching, I'm down here with my dad, because my dad was recently put into the hospital and released for COVID. So I'm / helping him / quarantining with him. So, and I actually think, knock wood, please send all the good vibes. I've passed my 3 to 5 days of initially being exposed to him. So, fingers crossed I'm okay. But we were watching Jurassic World. I know. And, they had so Owen has his velociraptors, right? And he's trained them, but everyone thinks, oh, well, they're trainable. No, he says it perfectly. It's a relationship with these animals. It's not just I'm their owner and, I teach them. No, it's a relationship. Animals are not going to do anything for you unless they trust you. That's a relationship. Okay? And it's kind of the same way with, seeing somebody, and don't worry about what other people think. I mean, if there's, I'm just going to say it, a lot of times, and I don't know if it's anywhere else in the world, but it sure seems to be this way in Southern California, where people are afraid to be with someone because they don't want to be judged. I know. Now, I'm not saying all Southern Californians or even Californians are like that, but I really don't know if it's any different anywhere else, but that's how it feels sometimes. That there's a certain level of, well, I have to look this perfect, so I can't, go with something in this direction because it doesn't suit my what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't suit my outer persona, so, if people have to live like that, I have no words. And, and I'm sure we've all been there at some point or the other. I mean, I think I was sometimes like that in high school, but I could never tell if it was shyness or what, because I was very quiet. I was a lot different person back then than I am now. But, and here's the last one. Slow down. What you don't finish today will still be there tomorrow. Breathe and relax. What you don't finish today will still be there tomorrow. Breathe and relax. So, yeah, and again, like I said, I know that may have come off a little judgy, and I don't mean it to, but, if you don't follow your heart, it can lead to disappointment. It can lead to all kinds of things, and then, something that you may have wanted, whether, it's an item, a person, or whatever, I don't mean a person as an item. I mean, if there's something you wanted, but you were afraid what other people might think, it might be gone when you're ready for it. It might be, sailing off to, another port or in somebody else's possession because you couldn't figure out what you wanted. So, or you were too ashamed to want something that, made you happy. So, long story short, do what makes your heart sing. If people don't get it, they'll come around. All right. I promise you. Eventually they will come around. And on top of that, you may even inspire people to just look beyond themselves, to see the inner something of, if it's a person, of someone, So there you go. All right. Things to think on Thursday. Positivity. The light side and the dark side. This isn't very controversial. A lot of times Thursday ends up being such. I probably should have, I thought about making Thursday's topic, but this felt more, this felt a little bit, I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe if I hold my pen, my brain will start again. You know what? I'm going to hold my London pen. I love this one. So anyways, I do apologize, you guys. I know baby siblings like, don't apologize. I can hear her all the way over here from Tucson, Arizona. But my brain, it is just not firing in all directions right now. I've just had a lot on my mind, and it just feels like every time I start to find some kind of balance, like someone throws a bowling ball into my lane, So, I have no idea. In fact, I dreamt I was bowling the other night, so that's weird. But, so yeah, it's going to be a bit sidetracking. It's going to be a bit all over the place. See, she said in the comments, I did. I wonder if older siblings on, because I had to call her to wake her up this morning, and I have a funny feeling I called her too early. But yeah, I'm calling her out on this. I'm calling her out on this. But I do have a third person. I can't tell who it is that's on. But I do appreciate Eileen and baby sibling being here. So I actually wrote notes. And the reason I did this is because, partly because my brain is just all over the freaking place. Hi, Cousin Jeannie. It's my Cousin Jeannie. So, older sibling. I did pull 3 cards that I wanted to talk about. One, it says, I am in the process of positive change. And then on the back it says, I am unfolding in fulfilling ways only good can come to me. I now express health, happiness, prosperity, and peace of mind. I am unfolding in fulfilling ways. Only good can come to me. And I am in the process of positive change. Now, there's one thing to be, in the process of positive change, or just to be in a positive state of living. There's another when you are kind of doing what I do in a sense and trying to spread it like a tidal wave across the world. All right, but seriously, across my own world. But I'll be honest with you. The first note I wrote down, and this is straight 100% true. I'm not always positive because sometimes I don't feel the world deserves it. But I do it anyway. That's right. Sometimes I don't feel the world deserves it. Sometimes I don't feel the world deserves what a lot of people who are trying to put positivity into it, yeah, I know that it feels a little off for me to say, but I do it anyway, because a lot of times I think it's just, in my mind, being angry and being disappointed are 2 different things. Anger is an emotion that passes. Okay? I mean, you can knee jerk at something, you can, whatever it is, it's anger, right? And then it goes away, it dissipates, and poof, you've moved on. Disappointment, on the other hand, it's when somebody is constantly saying, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that, and then they don't. And then you try to help them, they keep falling on their face, and you're like, seriously, stop. It's like, at what point do you start to listen to what I'm trying to tell you? I'm not trying to tell you it because I'm bossing you around. I'm trying to tell you it because I've been there and I've done that. But disappointment can cover a lot of ranges of things. It's like, there's always going to be somebody that you tell them not to do something and they're going to do it. That'll probably make you angry. But, like when people lie to your face, there's just a billion scenarios you can go through. But for me, disappointment is very different from anger. And my disappointment, it sits for a while. And sometimes when I look at this world, I am disappointed. I'm disappointed at how we treat each other. I'm disappointed at how we treat each other and think we're right about it. How a lot of people refuse to take accountability in their lives for things that happened. There are going to be people who have the standard, regular, normal upbringing, right? Then there's going to be people who have weird shit, bad shit, ugly stuff happen to them. But that doesn't mean it gives you the right to grow up and hurt somebody else. Okay? If there's pain inside of you, handle it. Take care of it. Figure out how you can move past this so that you can have the beauty and love and joy of the people in your life. It was a struggle to get where I'm at today. I didn't just snap my fingers and poof, it happened. It has been a struggle. It has been a journey. And the hard part is there's behaviors that you leave behind that people don't understand are caused by trauma of any, trauma across the board. Okay, if you've had trauma in your childhood or your teen years or just in your life up until now, it doesn't matter what it is. It's across the board. How you get to the starting line is a personal thing. But how you choose to move forward with everybody else becomes a group thing. It becomes I'm going to open my eyes and try to understand what this person is going through. And now I'm not trying to minimize how you got to the start line, because obviously if you're at the start line and you have trauma, it's not good. But then you have to choose to step over the starting line. You have to choose the positivity in your life. And you could be in such a dark place that finding positivity might be the last thing you'll think you'll ever do. Doing these are the last things I ever thought I would do in my life. Writing blogs or sharing certain stories that I've written or whatnot with certain people are the last things I ever thought I would do in my life, because I have kept things close to the vest, and probably too close to the vest. But it was not easy. I was in such a dark place that a lot of times I would take it out on older sibling. Usually just trying to pick a fight with her, because I didn't realize all this anger inside of me was trying to get out. I mean, there would be times when I told her, I said it would feel like I was just in this blind rage, because half the time I wouldn't remember any of the details, just being angry and being angry at the world. And I think that's why even when I look around and I see how ugly people can be to one another, how, kind of dismissive people can be of one another, I think I still have to put this positivity into the world, even when I don't feel like it. And I don't know about other countries, but this country right now is just in a state of fucking chaos. Excuse my language. And it's not just this last year. It started a while ago. People are rude to each other. People are mean to each other. And it's all this COVID stuff. People not believing, people saying, well, it's not as bad, people ending up in hospitals and dying because they didn't take care of themselves. It's just across the board. And people fighting because they don't agree. Agree to disagree, all right? If you want to feel a certain way about it, feel a certain way about it. But that doesn't mean the other person's opinion is wrong. And I think that's the problem that we have. I never thought in my life my father would end up in the hospital with this. I try to gratitude health for everyone I know every day. So even if something does happen to them, it's not as bad. But he was on the floor for a whole day until he could reach his phone to call me to come down here. Okay? And it's, and he and I butt heads on this because it's not real. It's not this. And I think part of it, when we say things like this, is out of fear. Now I'm not telling anyone how to think. I'm not telling anyone what to do. Everything you do and put into your body is a personal choice. I've made my choices and he made his. And I'm just grateful that he's okay. But there are people I know who have been vaccinated and boosted, like myself, who would literally be sitting there telling him, well, see, this is why you should have done this. This is why. I'm not telling him that. Like I said, I can't tell people what to do. But it's things like this, when I see people fighting over the stupidest things, that makes me just wonder why. Why do I keep trying to put positivity into the world? And I'll tell you why. Because out of the 10 people watching, and I don't mean right now, but say there's 10 people watching this show later, I would say at least half will start thinking about it. And the other half might start thinking about it later. Because if they made it this far, they're interested. They want to know. So the next thing I wrote is, it's so much harder to be positive at first because being negative means you can blame the world instead of taking accountability. The easy way out. It is so much easier to blame the world for your problems than to accept accountability for what you are responsible for. And this might be a little controversial, but I'm going to say it anyways. And I don't mean controversial like, bad. It's actually a fact. What caused you to be in pain is in your past. Hopefully it is in your past. But if you've moved on from a trauma that has happened to you, you are now responsible for making the choice to get better or to get bitter. And getting better means getting better across the board. It means not being bitter or angry about anything, because you deserve that. That doesn't mean you have to keep, whatever hurt you in your life. What it means is you are choosing to move forward and to just create this level of positivity in your life that you deserve. So it's the choice. Do I want to be better or do I want to be bitter? I sometimes struggle with that. Believe it or not, I do. Because there's a lot of things that have anchored me so much into my past that I don't even realize. I mean, sometimes I will sit down and I will just have this nagging thought. And then I'll sit and I'll start journaling and a whole different thought comes out. And it turns out it's another anchor to this shadow self. And it sucks because every time you think you've moved forward, you're like, oh crap, there's something else, So I don't know how many more anchors I have. Maybe I have no more, or maybe I have a few more. I don't know. I found one the other day and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. But the difference between when I first started doing shadow work a while ago to me now is that I don't resist it. I don't shame myself for making the bad decisions. I don't, make myself feel bad because, I may struggle in certain areas. I struggle with my health. Okay, my health is fine, but I struggle with emotional eating. And I am still constantly shaming myself over it. Constantly. And I hate it. I hate it. Because that's not going to make me better. It's just making me bitter. And then it's making me hate myself even more. So much for that self-love, right? Number 3, positivity requires can't read my writing. Positivity requires a certain strength. Some people will scoff before they listen and embrace it. And, cannot read my writing. Okay. So positivity requires a certain level of strength. Some people will scoff before they listen and embrace it. And maybe that's because a lot of things that have happened to us subtly, life teaches us to worry and to be negative. I agree. I mean, obviously, because I wrote it down. But I agree. I think a lot of times life teaches us, not on purpose, and not even on purpose from, our parents or whoever raises us. I think, life conditions you in certain ways. And it's another area where you have to make the choice. Do I want to keep worrying about something I can't control? Right? And I think, I can't remember. We've watched a lot of movies yesterday, but I think basically one of the best things I heard is this one certainty about life is that you have no control over it. So you can choose to go with the flow, or you can choose to keep running your head into the wall by resisting change, by resisting the flow. See, a lot of times I think we don't like to use the word change because a lot of people don't like change. A lot of people, hands across the board, do not like change. But when you say go with the flow, there seems to have, it's something different, Change is like literally opening a door, walking through it and closing it behind you. And that can be too much and too overwhelming for some people. Whereas going with the flow, it's like standing in the river and knowing that you're not touching the same river twice. That's right. You are standing in a body of water that is constantly moving. It is not the same river twice. That river is changing as it's blowing by you. Just like waves in the ocean. How many times have you looked down and you watch the waves recede and, you see all these little shells, right, in the sand, just kind of rolling with it. And then you see the waves come back in and it's a whole different set of stuff that's appearing before you. Maybe not a whole different set, but there's different things in it now. It's because the tide also changes. Water is constantly moving. It's constantly, rivers and streams, maybe not so much lakes, unless they flow into another one. But rivers and streams and oceans, they are constantly moving. They are flowing. And yeah, they're big bodies of water, and that might be overwhelming for some. But, if you want to look at your life and see how can I be more positive, just picture yourself standing in a stream. Okay, just a stream. or maybe just a nice little stream. If you're like, oh, the water's cold. Okay, well, it's your stream in your head. So imagine this warm water and just imagine it washing away. Push all the crap, depending on how deep you are in your little meditation of this stream. Maybe you're ankle deep. Push all the worries and the fears and the doubts into your feet. Okay, and just let the water wash it away. And, while you're sitting there thinking, you may come up with ideas on how you can move forward with change, with the flow. This is actually good for me. That just came out of my head, so I'm definitely going to use that. But I think a lot of times we hold back because of this. Okay, this card in particular. Don't be afraid to be magical, even if other people see you. All right, this is the enchanted flying car from Harry Potter. Part 2, I think. But yeah, don't be afraid to be magical, even if others see you. Just be yourself. If you are yourself, all the right people are going to come to you. All the right people are going to enter your life. All the right people are going to be there with you. I don't particularly do well with change. In fact, older sibling and I were talking about this yesterday, and I gave the best but lamest answer because we were talking about, like change and going with the flow and all this stuff. And she texted me back and she said, so how come we can give people this really great advice, but we can't follow it? I wrote back to her and I said, because we're leaders, not followers. Best stupid answer ever. Like best / stupid answer ever. You got to lead by example. Okay. That's how you keep the people. If you constantly are trying to lead from behind a desk, behind a camera, and you're not showing the world how to act, how to behave, that it's okay to not be angry about things. And, it's also okay to be angry about things. Just don't hold on to it. Be angry. Take that time to get that crap out of you. Complain, bitch, moan, whatever. I remember posting a video about this a while ago from TikTok about a doctor who suggests this to some of his patients. He tells them, take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes. Be angry, swear, do whatever you have to do. Take a punching bag and hit it. Or maybe hit a bag of rice or something. Well, don't break it open, but but take that time to be angry. But when the timer goes off at 5 minutes, let it go. Let it go. Because you don't need to be angry after that point. You've gotten everything out about it. You've vented about it. Maybe you journaled about it. Then let it go. And take a few deep breaths. Just take a few more minutes to take deep breaths, relax, and say, okay, good. I got that out of me. It's okay to be angry. But the problem is we tend to hold on to it. And then we forget we're holding on to it and it starts projecting itself in a lot of different ways. Okay. So number 4, this kind of has to do with positivity, but also this is more of a leadership thing. And I didn't know that I would have enough to talk about when it came to positivity. So I actually added on another subject. Encourage your children. Don't force them to be who you want them to be. Let them discover who they are while nurturing and helping to guide them on their path. The reason I use baby sibling a lot for examples is because I watched my nephews grow up. Okay, she keeps me in the loop. She sends me pictures. She sends me videos. She sends me Snapchats. And so I get to see all the things they're involved in. I got to see my nephew for a science project build a Mars rover with the balloon and out of things that are found in the house. Now I'm getting bit by bit updates on my other nephew, the younger one, who's building a castle. Today's the drawbridge. But Eileen is also on here. And, I've known Eileen long enough, and her and I have had a lot of talks about her own kids, and one of the things that really stuck out in my mind is she has twin girls. Okay. twin girls. And when they started school, she purposely separated them because she wanted them to have their own identities. Okay, they may be identical, but she wanted them to have their own identities. And, you know, I follow one, I don't know if I follow one of them on Instagram. She's like the fashion diva, okay? I mean, this girl, she's going to do great things. They all of them are. All three of her kids are. You know, because she lets them be who they are. And I can go as far as saying that I'm pretty sure my cousin Jeannie does the same thing. She lets her kids be who they are. You know, and like I said, I've been away from San Diego for a long time, so I didn't get to see some of the other kids grow up, including some of my other nephews that live just up the freeway. But the ones I have, I see these parents and I think, wow. You know, because I know some parents who are like, oh no, my kid's going to be a doctor when they grow up. My kid's going to be this or that when they grow up. If they want to be, you can't force someone to do something they don't want to do, because then they're just going to be sad about it. I mean, if they seem like they're not on the right track and they may need a little guidance, then maybe guide them in that direction. But you can't sit there and be pregnant and say, oh, you know what? My kid's going to be, you know, the president one day. My kid's going to be an astronaut one day. You know, I mean, everybody wants to shoot for the moon, but that may not be what your kid wants. Your kid may be wanting to be a trash guy, you know, a sanitation engineer, because they want to drive the big truck. I want to drive the big truck. Okay. That truck is awesome. I want to drive the big truck. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody adds to this world. Everybody adds to this world. We all put something into it that makes it spin. You know, whether you're this, you know, top-notch person or whether you're the person that's, you know, cleaning up the offices, they're just as important. I can't tell you how many times when I was still working in an office that I would say hi. I mean, I knew the cleaning crew because, you know, you'd see them in the hallways like, hey, how's it going? This, that, and the other. They were our porters. That's what they were called, porters. And the first time you meet them, they seem so surprised that someone's talking to them, you know? And sometimes when I would stay late at work, they'd be like, oh, well, I won't vacuum around here. It's like, no, you know what? I'm in your way, okay? You do what you have to do. I won't be in your hair much longer. I need to go home anyway. But there's that level of respect with one another, because I'm not looking down on what they're doing. I mean, for all intents and purposes, she might be the head of the cleaning crew while I was the low man in the totem pole in that office, right? So who has seniority where? We need to look at each other as each person adding something to this world. As Mom Barbara told me once, you are no better than anyone else. Nobody is better than you. We all add something to this world. And I think that's important for kids to know, that it's okay for them to be who they want to be. And like I said, I mean, if they're struggling and they're not happy, just say, hey, you know what? Maybe it's time to rethink what you want to do. And remember, it's never too late to start. And I'm going to leave that last part blank. A lot of people think, oh, well, I'm too old to go back to school. Like I said, I have a friend that recently graduated about a month ago now, maybe just over a month ago. Graduated from college at 47 years old. Okay, she started at 42. And then, so see here, I'm going to read this from Eileen. Anessa Lynn wanted to go into nursing, and I knew that wasn't her passion. But she told me about wanting to go to Fashion Institute, design and merchandising. I knew that's where she needed to be and supported her, and she's loving it there. You know, I can tell just from this girl's Instagram post that she is thriving there. I mean, she has the brain for fashion. I want to be like, I want to be in a situation where I just need to say, can you create me an original dress? You know? And she'd do it because her mom likes me. But they're family, all right? I didn't get to see these kids grow up. except through pictures, because I don't know, I have no excuse for me, I just am who I am, and I'm everywhere. But that's what I'm talking about. It's fun watching my nephews grow up, because Victor's brain, I literally can see him being an Imagineer. But that may not be what he wants to do. This may just be a hobby thing for him, which I don't think so. I really think this kid's going to be an Imagineer. Other friends that I have, I was just kind of throwing it out there one day that this girl was going to be president one day. And boy, she's been writing that one. I still have an invitation to the White House via her when she becomes president. But, I think it's okay to throw things out there for kids. It's okay to tell them, hey, look, you know what? Whatever you want to do, do it. But make sure it is your passion. Make sure it is something you love to do, because you are going to have to get up every morning and go do it. I have seen people in jobs, including myself, who were not passionate about what they did. And they tried to be. They try to be. The difference between Sissy and I is Sissy loved being an executive assistant. She loved, because there was a mutual respect in that office. She was the one. One of my last bosses that I had, well, not my last boss, but one of my favorite bosses always told me, I said, because when she became my boss, we had an issue with another boss. And I have to tell you, this is probably the best boss I've ever had in my entire life. And it's not because she joked around and said, I see what the admins do. They know where everything's hidden, where all the secrets are buried, all the bodies are buried. But she was in the mindset that we all add something. And I wish there were more bosses in my life that were like that, who didn't just see me as a worker drone, that you can pile crap on and on and on and expect them not to break. I broke. And I broke bad. It was not pretty the when I broke. And I think finally, I'm getting better, because I was bitter for a long time. And I want to thank everybody who's watching right now. The three of you. My big three, right? Jeannie and Marie. I was trying not to call her baby sibling. And Eileen. Because these are people who have seen me through the last year. How you doing? You doing okay? Their love is unconditional. Older sibling too, but she's not on. And my dad, just people that are constantly saying, you know what, you're going to figure it out. You're going to get your head back into the game. But don't forget to get your head back into the game. That's where the positivity comes in. Okay? Everything I've just said is about being positive. Even when you feel like you're in your darkest moments, there is a light at the end of that tunnel. Okay? So just don't lose sight of it. If you're struggling, reach out. Tell someone, hey, I could really use a lifeline right now. Can you throw me a rope? All right? And even if you're just hanging onto the rope, even if you're just touching the rope and holding onto it, someone's on the other end, so that if you yank, they can pull you out. Right? It's like that story I told you guys about a long time ago. I'm going to repeat it one last time, and we're going to close with that. It was about an alcoholic who fell into a well. And there's older sibling. Welcome to the end of the show. So, anyways, there was an alcoholic that accidentally fell into a well. Okay, was so drunk, fell in, couldn't get out. So as he's sitting down there, obviously now they're dry, because there's nothing at the bottom of the well except you in the bottom of the well in the dirt. First person passes by, and and they hear him crying for help. Can you please help me? Can you help me? Well, I don't know how to get you out, but I can sit with you for a while so that you're not alone until maybe someone else comes along. But, a while passes, that person can't do it, so they leave and they're all, I'm really, really sorry, but I hope you get out. Then a priest comes by, or we'll just say a spiritual advisor for anybody across the board, okay, comes by and says, I don't have a rope. I can't get you out. but I'll sit with you and I'll pray with you for a while. Okay? Then he has to leave. Then a third person comes along. And this third person has been where this person has been. Okay, so it's a story about an alcoholic, but I think we can change it to anybody across the board that feels like they've been at the bottom of the well. And this third person comes along, has been in the exact same position as this person. And he says, can you please help me out? He's like, well, I don't have a rope, but I'm coming in. Okay, and the third person jumps into the well. And the guy's looking at him, or the person's looking at him and saying, well, why did you jump in with me? Now we're both stuck down here. And he's all, no, we're not. Because I've been where you are and I know how to get out. And so, they both get out because someone understood him. Someone, the person was patient enough that, one person came along, waited for someone else to come along. And, if a lot of people do pray in this world. Maybe while they were praying, the priest said, hey, may he find someone who can help him out. And then this guy comes along, right? And jumps in with him. That's our tribe. Your tribe is always going to jump in with you. Because somebody in there is going to know how to get you out. So don't be afraid to reach out for help. Don't try to take it all on your own. There is strength in vulnerability. And I know a lot of people are going to say, how is there strength in vulnerability? We try to be so strong in our everyday lives that we forget to be vulnerable. And we just put up this big old fortress that says, with a big neon sign that says, I don't need your help. I got this. I can do it by myself. But being vulnerable, maybe you turn off that sign. And when you turn off that sign, it automatically turns on another one that says, please, I need someone right now. Being vulnerable is a strength. It may not feel like it, it may not seem like it, but it is your biggest asset. And it is one of your greatest strengths. Because you can crumble under the pressure, or you can rise above when your tribe, when your people lift you above their heads and say, hey, we're going to get you out of here. And we're going to carry you until you can be back on your own feet. Okay? That is what an emotional group does for you. That is what your tribe does for you. That's what your people do for you. Doesn't matter where in the world they are. People will carry you until they know you can get back on your feet. Now, don't be that person that lets them carry you forever. They're doing you a favor by being there for you. They're doing you a favor by saying, hey, you are not alone, but you also have to do part of this yourself. All right? So, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I know this was kind of across the board crazy, but I'm not going to apologize because I don't want baby sibling giving me the what for. But give yourself that chance to succeed. Believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Okay? Trusting yourself is going to be probably, if you're not used to doing that, like I'm not used to doing that, it is hands down going to be one of the scariest things in the world. So I'm going to share this really quick before I actually sign off all the way. This came from 911. All right. I know this is not going to make any sense, but I just saw this and I wanted, a thought hit my head because I thought, they used 2 of these and there was one left. These are the leads, or no, these are the little, pads that they put the leads on so they can, check your heart and check all your other crap for the EKGs and stuff. God, I've had enough things on me in my life because of my heart. But my dad asked me, why did you save that? And I said, I'm putting it in my adventure book. And the reason I'm putting it in my adventure book is because sometimes my father forgets to ask for help. And it came down to this. This is my reminder that we need to ask for help before it becomes a matter of an emergency. Okay, I don't know if he likes me sharing this or not, but I'm going to share it because it's going to make my point. And he'll probably say, I don't really care. My father was on the floor for almost a day because I couldn't get him up either. Okay, I couldn't pick him up. And so finally, the next morning, I slept out in the living room. I'm just sitting straight up in a chair to make sure he was okay all night. And finally, he lets me call 911. Okay, they come. There's 7 guys in the living room. Like I said, each one doing something different. Now, my dad's not that big of a guy. Okay, but this was also a wake-up call for me to get healthy and get some muscles because that was not good. But he waited so long because he didn't want to be a burden. That's what he said. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to, go to the hospital and for no reason. These are electrodes for your heart. Oh, see, they are electrodes. I was saying it just as Eileen was writing it. She's a nurse. Thank you. So I got it right. If you think after all these years of having having a heart thing, I would know these by now. But yeah, he didn't want to be a burden. So this is my reminder that I'm going to put inside of my adventure book, or maybe I'll put it on my wall for a while to remind me, you are not a burden. Nobody's a burden. If you need help, call. If you need someone to be there just to sit with you, even if it's in silence, call. Reach out. There are numbers on my website, shellbellinthemoment.com, and the reason I'm sharing that is there's a whole tab that is health links. In the United States, overseas. For the thank you to my friend Jason Smith for helping me put this one together for the LGBTQ plus IA plus, I'm sorry if I got that wrong, community across the board. There's even places online now that, you can call. There's commercials everywhere, because people are starting to take mental health seriously. And a lot of that is, a lot of times, and the reason I'm equating this to mental health is because a lot of times, maybe you were raised a certain way, or maybe you just had crappy parents. I don't know. Whatever it is, or maybe you're just so used to doing things on your own that you don't know how to ask for help. Remember, vulnerability is a strength. Okay? Even if you think it's not, I'm telling you it is. And I'm telling you that from experience. I'm telling you that from experience. The only other hospital stay I've ever had in my life was about 16 years ago. And actually, 17 years ago now. It was the only other hospital stay I've had aside from my heart surgery. Because I was so sick with, apparently they diagnosed it later as swine flu before swine flu hit the United States. But it was so bad I waited 2 weeks. I'm lucky I didn't get anybody else sick. But it was also about to affect my heart really bad to the point where I was on antibiotics 24/7. Every 4 hours, I got a different drip of one thing. Every 6 hours, I got a heavy duty drip. And that needle was so big in my arm because some of these meds were so thick, these antibiotics, that hole did not close for 3 months. And on top of that, I wasted a whole summer because I had no strength until I didn't get my strength back till about August. And this happened in May. Don't feel like you're going to be a burden. Okay? I don't say anything that I've not been through. I'm not going to preach out there anything that I have not been through. Because I think my bad choices will help other people make good choices. All right? So now, let's close this up. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Tomorrow is Aloha Friday, Aloha Oracle Friday. It's also my mother's birthday. So I don't celebrate the age anymore because obviously she's gone, but we'll try to make it a fun one. Who knows? Maybe I can call her in and she can give us some messages, all right? So I know, stepping out of the lane there a bit, but you know what? Again, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. I will see you back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Facebook Live, it is public. Anyone can watch. Or you can catch the replay, usually up on YouTube before or by noon Pacific Standard Time. All right. I love you too, Cousin Jeannie. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you guys for hanging in there who were watching live. I know it was kind of a bouncy one. It was kind of all over the place, but I do appreciate when you're patient with my brain, because sometimes my brain just does it. It fires in a lot of different directions because it is just so squirrely in there sometimes. But I do appreciate it. So again, have a wonderful day, and thank you again for watching.